She says, what are some veggies that cats can actually break down and get nutrients from? No, they can actually break down a lot of different things. Now, again, we're not giving them a plate of vegetables, right? We're giving them if you're making a recipe or adding something to their food, whether that's a canned food, a fresh food, or gently cooked food, we're talking very small amounts, like a quarter to a half a teaspoon. So things like chopped Brussels sprouts, and you can mince things. You can mince like broccoli sprouts. You can take actual broccoli. Some cats actually like broccoli. You can take spinach. You can take squash. You can take pumpkin. Um, Jerusalem artichoke is another really good source of prebiotic fiber. Um, Let me think, what else do cats like? Some cats like green beans, believe it or not. But again, we're talking tiny, tiny amounts, and you would want to either puree them or mash them up really, really good. If you're going to do carrots, make sure you cook them because otherwise they don't really get absorbed. So again, think about like steaming or lightly cooking some of these things, like the pumpkin. Um, Now the sprouts you can do fresh. Um, I know that for a fact. You can do broccoli sprouts fresh. You can do like chopped leafy greens like kale, um, things like that, collard greens. Again, you may have to experiment to see what your cat would actually eat in its food, but we're talking very small amounts. So, quarter to a teaspoon per meal. So, if you're preparing a homemade diet or something like we've talked about up to this point, and you're going to have enough for several days worth or a week, then obviously just figure out how much that needs to be for how many meals that you're going to provide, and that can help you kind of figure out how much you're going to use. But again, it's tiny amounts, tiny, tiny, tiny amounts. Some cats actually even like to lick fruit, and I don't think it's because they know that they can taste the sweetness, but sometimes it could be just the moisture that they like. They don't really have a lot of receptors, from what I understand, in terms of deciphering sweet versus salty. So, I had a cat years ago that would like to lick watermelon and peaches. And sometimes he would nibble on the watermelon. He would actually eat a big chunk of it, but it was just kind of fun to give them the option to taste things. And some cats really like to taste things. She says, should they be steamed and pureed and fermented so they just don't poop it out?